me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god.
Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine. In my thoughts, obsession. I will not stop, no, I'm never second guessing. I got a God complex. Haters love to hate, but I never feel pressed. Got a lot on my plate, but I never get stressed. I'll take all the pressure like I'm acing this test. Tear it up like I'm Jason. I see the world like it's ready for the taking. I see this place like a game I'm playing. Straight to the bank to collect my payments. No negotiations, it's my way, I was born impatient. And like a damn Freemason, I'll run this nation.
You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god.
I don't know how to stop. I just go till I drop. Whether it's working or shots, give it all that I got. You can watch me work in my element. Anyone in the way is irrelevant. You wanna cross me, cool, not intelligent. Cause I don't forget shit like an elephant. Go ahead and tempt me, put it on the line and you'll come up empty. If I got time, I'm deadly. Never caught off guard, no, I'm always ready. I got a hand real steady. Look me in the eye and you'll see no hezzy. About to get real messy. I'll put you in a grid 6 feet like Kenny.
You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god.
What's going on? It's your boy Reckless Radenero, and we are back at it again with another episode of Future Financial Strategies. Before we get into it tonight, obviously we're going to talk about Go High Deductible. We're going to be talking about deductibles tonight, and reason being, I mean, I've gone through a surgery. I actually had to use my insurance, which I never use, and I opt for the high deductible plan. A lot of people like to save money up front. For me, there are a couple of different hacks that I implement, and going through this process, I'm actually going to be able to break down exactly how I utilize going high deductible and why I advocate for it. Before we get into that, we got to give a shout out to the family over at Circa 84. If you are interested in taking your skill set to the next level with regards to investing, we are down in the weeds in Circa 84. There's stuff that is not public access. There's obviously a paywall to get into that Discord group, but we got a lot of people with a lot of different varying skill sets in there that are sharing game at all times, including myself. And there is a link to that down in the descriptions. I also have a lot of referrals to all the tools and things that I use that you will see randomly throughout the episodes on this channel, throughout all of my video, throughout all of my content. A lot of stuff that I reference. I only reference things that I actually use, and things that I actually use will be down in that description. I might actually have to start rocking a clothing section to, you know, represent some of the swag. Because, like, I'm simplifying so many things in my life, but I think the only place that I'm going to have swag is online. Like, you see me out, there won't be swag. There's only going to be swag here. And like a lot of it's going to be smaller companies, smaller upstarts, little things that I find that sell quality clothing that I like, that fit me well. Yeah, we're going to have to make a swag section. We're going to have to put it down in the description below, and we're going to start rocking out some of the clothing brands that you see, because I'm going to probably be isolating on a few in particular that I really like. And yeah, we're going to have it down there. We're definitely doing some simplification. I want things simplified. This injury has brought clarity to my life. It's time to make some changes. And as we fight our way back through this recovery, we're just going to be consistently simplifying everything, because there's just a bunch of stuff that I'm not going to be using for a long time. So, I think that's what we're going to do. But let's jump into it. So first and foremost, I know there's a lot of people who a lot of the stuff we do over here on Future Financial Strategies is very counterintuitive. And there's a reason for that. It's because it's counterintuitive because the masses don't do it. The masses do not really deviate from the plan that's been given to them. And as we are seeing right now, the plan that was given to them, that was given to us, isn't necessarily a great plan for us individually. I mean, it's a great plan. It benefits definitely the companies, I would say marginally society, because it's not like a bunch of us are doing things that are important. But they're definitely having us go to work till we die. So there's that, which helps GDP, helps make it look like we're being productive, regardless of whether it's actually being productive or not. But yeah, we're doing stuff, and when people deviate from that, they're like, "Oh, you're weird. Like, why would you do that? Like, why aren't you spending all of your money? Why are you so obsessed with acquiring assets? Why are you obsessed with maximizing gains on whatever it is? Why are you trying to not be a avid consumer? And you know, like, why aren't you can afford it? Why aren't you going on trips all the time?" Well, I would prefer to go on trips indefinitely as opposed to go on trips some of the time and then be stuck in a position where I'm going to have to go back to work, or I'm going to have to be working hard indefinitely. Like, I'd like to streamline some of that stuff. And most of the things that we're doing over here are factored into retiring early. But one of the important things is insurance. And it's one of the only reasons that I'll continue working is because insurance, unless I can figure out a way to scale a business up to where I can make that a business expense, I'm going to have to keep doing something. And I'm not relenting that because that's my nature. Like, I mean, I opted to go back to work because I don't like sitting around as soon as I possibly could. So while you're in that workforce, while you're in the rat race, while you're grinding away in the machine, we've got to bear in mind, we've got to constantly be thinking that how do we make these plays moving forward? And so one of the things that I do now, I wish I had done it earlier, because if I would have been doing it up till now, this would have been a much more smooth process than what it currently is. But I opted last year. But like, if I would have started off doing this, A, I would have had more money in my pocket to invest. And B, I would have had a larger cash pool to deal with in regards to paying for the surgery. So I opted for the high deductible plan, and I started already doing this. Like, my car insurance is high deductible. My phone, I'm getting rid of my phone insurance starting next year. I'm removing that from the plan because I don't need it. Because I've gotten to the point where I can self-insure that. I guess once I get to, let's say, actually, I don't know. I don't know that there's a point in time where I would want to self-insure from an insurance perspective. I don't like, those bills are expensive. Like, granted, this bill wouldn't have been that expensive. Like, I had the capital to self-insure this injury and this surgery, but I could only think like something that was prolonged, that was catastrophic. Like, those bills are different level, and you want to have insurance. So what I opted for was I went with the high deductible plan, which it's a lower monthly premium. It's a much lower monthly premium, and you have access to the HSA. Now, here's the hack. I went ahead and started funding my HSA. And this year, the second year in, the way that I was funding it, because I was just like, I'll throw a little money in there. I don't normally go to the doctor, and I don't really get sick. So those are two things that in every other decade, like, I might have had. I've had two urgent cares. This being the third one that resulted in a surgery. But I've been to the urgent care 2 times in the last 11 years. So, and every other year except for the last two, I've always had the PPO, everything's covered, and it's like the more expensive plan, but you don't pay anything if you go to the doctor, in the off chance that I have to go to the doctor. And I never had to go to the doctor. Through COVID, never went to the doctor. Even when I got COVID, never went to the doctor. Got tested, they told me I was sick, came here and laid down. Got up, went back to work as soon as I started feeling better, and then went and tested negative. I never go to the doctor. It was like I have to physically be malleably broken to go to the doctor. So obviously, rupturing your Achilles, I had to go to the doctor. I also had to go get surgery. Like, I also have all the follow-up visits and all the fun things that are involved with that. But as we're moving through here, so I have a high deductible plan, and what my high deductible plan is $5,000. At any given time, I have access to that. I prefer to utilize credit for that and then pay it back. So that the hack that we instituted was I got into my HSA. Now, with that, I got into the HSA, and the reason I did that was because at a certain point, you can actually invest that HSA into the market. And I was intending on doing that. That was the play. Now, if I had started doing this 11 years ago, I would have had so much more money right now. Like, I would have been like, this would have been covered multiple times over. But I didn't. So I just recently reimbursed myself out of my HSA to start covering these bills. And one of the things that we are going towards right now is, and this was the play that I used for the HSA. So like, I pulled the money out that's going to cover the immediate surgery. And I think the majority of the stuff that was involved, all the purchases that were involved with the surgery. But actually, there's no but to that. It's going to cover the majority of that stuff. So that money could get paid off right now. But what I'm going to do is we're testing out another financial tool that's a financial strategy, because as I find these things, I like to test them. And not only that, it's a financial strategy that'll allow me to capitalize on time value of money and opportunity costs. And for those of you who are not familiar, the time value of money states that the dollars that you have today, the ones you have in your hand right now, are worth more than the dollars that you have in your hand tomorrow. They're worth more than the dollars you have in your hand next week, next month, next year. It just extrapolates out. And because the value of our money is constantly losing on the losing end, you're constantly losing value against inflation. So whatever dollar you have in your hand right now, whatever you buy right now with that dollar is worth more than it is tomorrow. Now, the thing that you buy, if you buy a tangible, like, I'm not saying go buy Jordans or go buy a car or go buy some sort of depreciating asset, but assets that you buy right now are worth more tomorrow. They're worth more the next day. You look at the stock market. I mean, obviously it goes up and down, but generally speaking, the trend is up because of inflation. So assets are just more expensive. Now, what we've done is we've got that check. It went straight into the income account, the brokerage account that we set up, that we will be that you guys got to see just recently, just a couple of Mondays ago, you guys got to see the start of that. So now you're seeing how we're just putting chunks of money in there and then dollar cost averaging into the positions that we're allocating for ourselves, because that money produces income. So now we're taking the money that we had to cash out of the HSA to produce income. And then as we continue to recycle back into the HSA, because I mean, I'm probably going to, depending on what the crypto market does and what we can get this portfolio up to, I'm thinking I've got another 5 to 10 years before I can be out. I'd say I think that between crypto and this account, before we can be out of the full-time work week, before we can be out of the rat race. I mean, at that point, it'll just be finding a putt-putt job that I can go in that's low stress for me. I mean, I could technically go do anything. I go move boxes at Amazon. They got really good insurance. I go be over there and just realistically just go show up for insurance and profit sharing and just like really maximize and hack that system and just show up and do menial tasks all day and go home until they bring in robots and then whatever. But I'm thinking I got like 2 to 5 left. I got 2 to 5 left. I was like, if I don't hit it this bull run, I'll definitely hit it next bull run. If I do hit it this bull run, I'm probably going to work another year anyway. So I'm dialed in for at least 3. We'll say 3 to 5. Like that's going to be the goals. I'm really focused in now. Like I'm minimizing everything. We're cutting down the needs for the wardrobe. It's going to be a very simple wardrobe. I'm getting rid of a bunch of stuff. I've cut my hair. It's where Stella's got her groove back. Like we're going hard. We're really dialed in and going hard. Like obviously I'm probably going to do some fun stuff, but me not being able to dance really puts me in a different level of focus because I don't have anything else to do right now. Like I really don't. Cause like when I look at it, I'm like all my hobbies, that was it. Like I'm a very simple person. I like to make money. I like to dance. One of those hobbies is kind of expensive in the sense that we go out. We like to go, you got to look good. Like to do all that stuff. Well, now I'm still going to look good, but we're simplifying it. Like I ain't trying I got nobody to impress right now. I'm hemmed up. I'm sitting up here. Got my leg up right now. I can't do too much. It's bandaged. I got to do these foot stretches. Wild times. But that's going to move my focus over to just accumulating assets and getting wealthy and continuing to learn. Because like, I mean, I can still do that. I can still do some workouts. I just can't do all the workouts. But as soon as we get back into physical fitness and the physical therapy to get me back on my feet the way that I used to be, we're down rabbit holes. Biohacking's back on the table. There's so many other facets of my life that like I just completely neglected. Because like if I can just do 2 things and I can get by doing 2 things, that's my proclivity. I'm gonna just do the 2 things. Go to work, go dance. Stack assets. Well, now that the one thing that was the majority draw on my finances is gone, life just got so much easier for old Reckless Radenero. So now all we focus on is munions and learning. And obviously the workouts that we can do. Now back to the lesson at hand. So with the cash out of that, of the HSA funds to cover the things that I've already paid for, I'm just going to take that money, going right into the investment account to generate more income. And then what are we doing? We're going to take that income and we're going to clear debt. But we're going to constantly keep feeding that in there. We're going to keep feeding the income machine, the income generating machine, the front facing one, which is our brokerage account now. Crypto's doing what it does. We're getting nice chunks out. I got my my reallocation. It's a little bit higher than last month's. Not much, but it was enough to be noticeable. And I'm like, if we're going to be chunking forward like that, I'm fine with it. I'm here for it. That is something that we can do. And so like now I know I've figured out a system where we're going to have focused income going to places. I'm excited about it. I'm happy about it. I'm feeling good about it. We're making some reevaluations of some positions because I don't believe in there's no such thing as passive income if you want to be efficient at it. And I do want to be as efficient as possible. So we've got some positions that we're scaling out now that we're going to be moving over into other avenues just because the way that the money's coming in isn't necessarily as advantageous as I originally thought it was going to be. Like at a certain point, I was like, this isn't going to be that annoying. And now it's gotten to a point where I'm like, this is excruciatingly annoying for me. In the way that I like to move my money, I like to be a little bit more free with my reinvestment, with my stuff. And I'm like, okay, like if I gotta start questioning whether I should be doing something, I probably shouldn't be doing it from a financial perspective. And questions are being raised, so we're going to be making the adjustments. Just like with everything else, we're making adjustments across the board, constantly tweaking, constantly making it better. But that's why I go high deductible, because if you go high deductible, you have a lower premium and you reinvest the savings from the premium. And like I keep stuff in the ecosystem. So like The savings that I had on the premium, I took that and then added a little bit to it, and that's what I have them pull for my HSA. The other cool thing about the HSA in this specific case is it's pre-tax dollars, so it's almost like an additional 401k. The HSA also rolls over year to year. You never have to take it out. Also, if you don't ever use it and you just keep building it up, when you do get to retirement age, you can draw on it and, use it for long-term care and expenses, which is another useful thing. Me personally, I'm not ever planning on having to do that, but like getting another little dab in there. Like I almost am to a point now to where I would rather, with the way that I want my finances set up, because I personally, and I'm going to do a video on it, I personally have lost faith in the 401k. Roths are interesting, I guess, if after you've done everything else. Like I've got my Roth. Those of you who watched the investment video, I took the withdrawal on it, went ahead and paid the fee. Like I would rather have that money in my hands. I'd rather have that money under my stewardship. Because if you're actually building out an actual financial portfolio that you're going to live out of, if you're following the FIRE movement, if you're doing any of those things where you're trying to retire early, then you're not working till 60. So those vehicles at 60, where's your portfolio going? Like, does that mean, like, I understand if you are just going to be a worker and you're nose to the grindstone and you never look up and you're just going to work until they tell you can stop and then live for about 5 years or so and die. I get it. But if you're looking to retire early specifically, then what's the point of a 401k? Oh, you're saving on taxes. Like, yeah, but you can't get access to the money until they tell you can. That's an enticement to work till 60. And most of these gurus will tell you to do that first before you build the portfolio that you could just live out of. They'd rather have you get $500,000 in your 401k at work that you have no access to whatsoever without major penalty until you're in your 60s and or retirement age. They want you to do that so that you have to keep working, as opposed to building up a portfolio that has $500,000 in it. And, if you wanted to, have it kick out a bunch of dividends. And then you don't have to necessarily go to work because you're going to be making more than the average American. That's before you get to $1 million. But say you get to $1 million. Now you can definitely probably exit the workforce unless you're living hand to mouth because you're a total consumer and no matter how much you make, you just spend that much. That's a different set of problems. But why would you not want to build up the vehicle that you have access to so you can afford to stop working when you're ready versus when they tell you you're ready? Oh, the tax write-offs. I mean, sure, that's fair, but I would still rather take the write-offs and be able to retire 20 years early, because you don't retire 20 years early off of your 401k. Like, those things are distractions from the goal, to be honest. That's literally all that is at that point. If your goal is to retire early and you're going to work, your 401k at work, and I understand you get the free money, like whatever. And I mean, honestly, most of them only match up to like 6%. If you got an issue with 6%, because me personally, when I do my financial breakdowns, I don't even count the money that goes into the 401k. I don't count that money in my savings. So when I tell you I save 50%, that's between me leveraging debt and getting money into the market and then reinvest in dividends, and then also reinvest in dividends and also passes from crypto being reinvested, because all of that gets reinvested because we only stay in the market. We run that bag up indefinitely. Now the dividends, we're doing some other stuff with it, so that doesn't necessarily go 100% back in, but that's going to be reflected moving forward because we just started setting some stuff up and making some plays. But my 401k money isn't even factored into that. Like, I don't even count that money. I don't count it because, like, at a certain point, I'm just going to bite the bullet and take the hit and cash it out. and put it under my stewardship because I'd rather have that generating income. I'd rather have the income. I'd really rather just pay the 22% tax on the dividends and then, pay off debt and use that to like fund things. And then after we get the debt cleared back up, start reinvesting it and letting it snowball even harder because we are taking a certain allocation of it and letting it snowball. And also we will probably be taking the last 3 months of the dividends total and just leaving that in cash to go ahead and just be ready to, just in case we owe some taxes and take it out of that tax pool. Like, sure, we're going to owe a little bit. We're probably going to make a little bit of money this year. Going to pay it out of the dividends. But the HSA is something that I see as useful because that is something like, even if you just like lock it up or have it sit somewhere until you are retired, you can utilize it for long-term care. Or you can do the same thing that I do with the 401k. Just take the hit on it, pay the taxes whenever it gets to wherever it is, whenever you're ready to exit the workforce. And now you got another cash infusion to go into an income portfolio. And then you ain't got to worry about it because you just got money coming in to pay for stuff. So I go high deductible on most things. Like the phone, I'm to the point now to where next year we're going to be self-funding that. Like I'll have enough being kicked off to just, if I want to upgrade a phone, just take the dividends for that month and just go update a phone. Like there's no, like if the phone breaks, God forbid, just go buy another phone. Like that's the goal, is to be producing enough money to where the money that I would be spending on the phone insurance and put that in the income portfolio and use that money to add to that pool. And that way, if something happens and I need to make a pivot, I can do that. Normally, I've got phones. I've got 2 good working phones. My old iPhone, I got a Samsung down. I got 2 I threw one of the Samsungs away because it was going to cost more to fix it than what the phone was worth. And I didn't need that phone back that bad. But I got another iPhone, backing this iPhone up. I've got another, like I'm shooting on an iPhone right now. I got this iPhone right here. It's not bad. Just wanted a better camera. Yeah, there we go. I got another phone downstairs. Like I can switch to an older phone for a couple of months and then set aside money out of the dividend. Like I would prefer that to be self-funded, and like whatever extra I'm paying for phone insurance, I will reallocate that out of the phone budget right on over into the income pool, and you just pay yourself that money. The issue is doing finance the way that I do things, and I understand that I'm not for everybody. I am specifically for those of you who have found me, for those of you who rock with me, for those of you who have joined the Wolfpack. This channel is not necessarily made for the masses. And by the masses, I mean the sheep that want to get riled up and then believe that there's only one way to do things and not have the conversation, and they've got a set fixed mindset about how they got to do stuff. I'll leave that to them. Over here, we're experimenting. We're trying to be as efficient as possible. Some of it'll work. Some of it won't work. Not going to say that I'm going to hit every time, but I'm going to say that the way that I go down these rabbit holes, I think stuff through. I like to try things. I like to test things to see if they work. And, I'm going to document it here. Like we've got some other future financial strategies that we're getting ready to unfurl, that we're getting ready to roll out and start. And I think it's going to be interesting. I really do. So, I'm really excited about that. And yeah, we're gonna do what we can do with it, and we're gonna keep producing this content that is having real conversations, and we're discussing real things. But the moral of the story is the high deductible with the HSA, and then hacking that HSA because it's normally a threshold. I think mine was $2,000 or something like that, and you can convert it over. Actually, I think it was less than $2,000 because I think I was past the threshold. I think it was like $1,200 or $1,000 or something like that. And you call them up and have them convert it over, and then your HSA funds are invested in the stock market. You can peg it to the S&P 500 and get those gains every year. I think that's a good play. And honestly, I might actually put more into the HSA and not do and cash out my 401k, take the penalty on it, and switch that over next year. I might do a 401k conversion and take that money. I might do it before next year, to be honest. I mean, I'm going to do it next year for sure, but like I won't be re-upping for the 401k. Like I'll put more into the HSA moving forward. Like I'm just going to stack that, and then we'll scale it up based on whatever pay we have and figure out if there's any ways to add. Like I'm going down the HSA rabbit hole because like while I'm working, I'm like, cool, why not get a little nest egg? And then when I move out of the workforce, I'll take that hit again and pay the fee. I'll pay the taxes, not that big a deal, and convert that over and get it into the income fund. And that's going to be an additional boost. I think that's what we're going to do. Might do 50-50. I'll put half of it directly into the income fund and then half of it directly into the HSA. We might be splitting up our 401k contributions because, yeah, why not? Like it just makes sense. So that was the conversation that I wanted to have. We're rounding out the 30-minute mark. This is a solid episode. And again, high deductible and invest the difference because you're going to have a lower premium. I always say self-fund, high deductible with your car. Make sure that if you're going to go that route, honestly, I would do this before I went that route. Figure out what the deductible is. And if you want to do this super responsibly and not be like Reckless Ray Dinero, figure out what your deductible is. Get the deductible amount, or in the case of phone insurance, because that's one that catches you all the time, that you're just paying an extra fee for something. Cost of replacement. So generally speaking, it's about $1,200 to replace a phone, to get any phone that you want, almost $1,200. And if it's not $1,200, you're in a savings window to where you can make that work, but you have the cash on hand. Set it aside, put in an account. Like me personally, at this juncture, everything is going to just exist inside of, actually, my deductibles and brokerages will be set into a separate brokerage account that's generating income. But I will say this. With that said, that account specifically will be generating income, and we'll just be reinvesting the dividends over there. It's not all going to sit in the dividend account, but like most likely, most stuff's going to get paid out of the dividend account. Like if I need to spend, once I get the debt cleared, it's going to be used for that. And then that dividend account is actually going to double as my opportunity fund. So if something's coming up that I'm looking towards, then, you know, we'll eat into that dividend account a little bit, you know. Large purchases, I'll plan those out and be like, cool, we need to set aside X amount from this so that we can have X amount every so often out of that opportunity fund. So that's the gist of it. That's the gist of it. I mean, that's just where we're at with things. And it's something to think about. It's a different way to think about money. And it's like, what if you just had the ability to just buy stuff? Because like the way that I look at that dividend account, that to me, if you're getting that money every month like clockwork and it's just showing up in the dividend account, like, yeah, you got to pay taxes on it. So it's like what, 22, we'll say moving forward, if they raise the dividend tax, 30%, right? You got 70% of that is imaginary money, comes from nowhere. It just show up. I mean, that's the goal. That's the lifestyle we're trying to have. We're trying to have things be secure. We're not trying to have something happen and we're scrambling. We're trying to stay ahead of the game. Till next week, my friends, it's your boy Reckless Ray Dinero. Peace.